Most English learners make this mistake, but you would not after watching this. Hello and welcome to English with Smile, where learning English is always fun and easy. In today's lesson, we will master subordinating conjunctions and learn how to use them to form complex sentences. This will help you sound like native and natural in English. So let's begin. What are subordinating conjunction? A subordinating conjunction is a word that connects an independent clause. An independent clause means complete sentence with a dependent clause. Dependent clause means incomplete sentence. The dependent clause cannot stand alone as a sentence because it needs the main clause to make sense. What I say? I say dependent independent clause connect. For example, I stayed inside because it was raining. Here because are subordinating conjunction. They introduce the dependent clause and connect it to the main clause. Second example is she left early although she was feeling fine. Here although are subordinating conjunction. They introduce the dependent clause and connect it to the main clause. Common subordinating conjunctions. Let's look at some common subordinating conjunction and how they are used. Cause and effect conjunction, contrast conjunction, time conjunction, and condition conjunction. Cause and effect conjunction. It shows why something happened. For example, because, since, as, so that. And we learn how we use them. For example, he was late because he missed the bus. I left early since I had a meeting. Contrast conjunction or opposition conjunction. It shows contradiction between two ideas. For example, although, though, even though, variance, while. For example, she smelled although she was nervous. I like tea, whereas my brother prefer coffee. Time conjunctions indicate when something happens. For example, when, before, after, while, until, as soon as. For example, call me after you arrive home. Second example is she was reading while I was cooking. Condition conjunction. It shows that one thing depends on another. For example, if, unless, provided, that, in case. For example, I will go if it does not rain. And second example is you can borrow my book provided that you can return it soon. Complex sentence structure. Now that we know what subordinating conjunctions are, let's learn how to structure complex sentence. A complex sentence has one independent clause and one or more dependent clause. Here are two ways to structure it. Dependent clause plus independent clause. For example, because I was tired, I went to bed early. Independent clause plus dependent clause. For example, I went to bed early because I was tired. Notice that when the sentence starts With a dependent clause, we use a comma. But if the dependent clause comes first, no comma is needed. Thank you for watching. Tell me about today's lesson in comment section. Keep learning, subscribe and hit the bell icon.